Hey sparklers, so welcome back to Teaching Tuesday. So today I am going to be teaching another tarot card. So there's no meditation. If you do want meditation, do check that out. Meditation is so important, and the meditation I teach is actually energy cleansing meditation. So this will actually cleanse your soul. It's very important. So today we are doing the Magician, so we're learning about the Magician. If you do want to see more about different cards and stuff that I've got and techniques and stuff that I do take a look in the description. There is the playlist for our tarot.
Empress sparkle with a crown of gold. I see the future, secrets untold.
So if you don't know me, I am Empress Sparkle. I am a witch, clairvoyant and Hellenist. And around here I teach, I talk about crime, I talk about everything paranormal really. And it's really strange that tarot cards do come under the paranormal, as well as the fact of visions, etc, etc. So today we are going to go through this, the Magician with you. I'm going through these because actually what it says in the book isn't always actually 100% correct. So sadly the books are written by people in the present, so they're not really thinking about them as in when they were actually invented and done, which is one thing we need to actually look at. Also what I teach, and if you take a look at my first video, I teach you how to connect with your cards so you can actually feel with your intuition the messages off. What I teach though isn't very good at reading cards for yourself, because sadly our own emotions interpret the cards the wrong way. So I will say that. So when people sit there and they say to me, why do you say don't read for yourself? This is why. Because I don't mean this rudely, but 9 times out of 10 the cards won't read the way you want them to, so you'll interpret them a different way. So let's get on with it. So today we've got the Magician. I will be obviously as always adding a photo so you can see a close-up. So today we've got the Magician. The one thing I want to take note of first is he is the number one. He is a higher, he's also a so he is a major card, so this is important to remember. So major cards, as I said in my last one, don't exactly mean what everyone says, where they're definitely going to come true or they're describing the person. It doesn't always mean that, okay? So major are usually, you will find quite regularly that the same majors will come out for someone. Well, they should do anyway. Saying that, I'm a nightmare for getting the same card readings for people for ages. You shouldn't read into it as that is definitely going to happen, because of the fact that the energy can change. So one of the important things about tarot is understanding that the energy can change. It's not always going to be guaranteed. It's guidance. This is why we call it guidance, because the energy can change. So basically they can have this reading, and because of the reading they can go out and do one thing slightly different because they want to change their ways, and that will change the energy, full stop. So first things being first, there was a pun there. This is number one. So is the one card. So number one, you need to think about, what does number one mean? Number one means solitary. It means on your own. So this Magician is a solitary practitioner. So you'll often notice if I get my cards read, I quite often get the Magician out quite often, because I'm a solo practitioner. So this is one of the things that I think is really, really important to remember, is these little details, okay? The little details are very, very, very important. Very important. So next we have in the little details. Comment down below. I will give you 5 seconds to comment down below if you know what this sign is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This sign is the infinity sign. So basically what this sign is it's forever, okay? So this is something that's going on forever. So you could pull this card out in a reading and it won't come out again. But if the affinity sign is out for you, this is something that they will have to continuously be guided on. So it may not come out in the next reading, but you'll notice that there is similar cards sort of giving the same guidance. So it is something that they continually actually do. So there's a lot of things as well. I will say, guys, a lot of what I'm teaching you is for reading for people that are alive. The reason why I'm saying that is because when you're reading for someone that's passed away, so sometimes when I'm doing a mediumship, I will use my cards. And like this card comes quite often where it'd be like the person is saying, I didn't believe in heaven and hell, but they actually now do. It's magic. So it's stuff like that, okay? Stuff like that that you need to sort of take note in, little things like that. But they are different for if I'm reading for someone that's actually passed. Very, very different. First, then we've got his robes. So we'll go to his robes next. Okay. His robes are simple, but there is red there. So red usually is a sign of love, danger, and stuff like that. Now, having red there, you need to take note of which one is out. So if the white's out, that usually means something is manifesting, it's all good. If the red's out to you, massively out to you, once you start my program and you start actually channeling your cards, you'll know exactly what I mean. That means there's a trickster. Okay, now a trickster, when we talk about tricksters, this is someone that is pretending to be something they're not. This may not necessarily mean that they are actually out to get you or anything like that. It can also mean that they are not able to feel comfortable enough around you to be themselves. It can be something as simple as that. But sadly, majority of the time, it is that they are out to get you, sadly. We then have the wand, which obviously a wand, this wand is a bit strange because it has 2 points, so it has 2 ends. So the aim of a wand, I don't actually have one. It's one thing I need to get to part of my witch stuff. So the part of the wand is actually to direct the magic. But this one is being directed in 2 different directions. So what this tells to me, when that's out to me, that will be that they are trying to do stuff in 2 different directions. So either they've got a trickster sort of tricking them into 2 different directions, or they're manifesting something in 2 different directions. It can be all sorts of things along that line. We need to remember we need to remember magician. So the other thing that they could be doing is actually causing their own illusions. So when I say to people, oh, you're causing your own illusions, what that means is they are sort of living in a fantasy world. So they're not actually processing what's going on around them. So when the wand's out to me, when I actually see this, which I will get to how you can see that they're living in an illusion. Don't worry, I will get to it. When that comes out to me that they're living in this illusion, that is saying to me, you know, it's sort of like a delusion. It's the only way I can explain it is that they're living in a world that they think they're living in. So often the types of people I will get this out is for people that often victimize themselves, for narcissists. I get out a lot for narcissists that, you know, they make this perfect world and stuff like that. It's sort of that sort of thing, you know, people that are living in a world that isn't actually real. It's not like bipolar, schizophrenia, stuff like that, but it's more they are living in a dream world. That's the word, isn't it, I'm looking for? Dream world. They're living in a dream world. That is the word I'm looking for. That's the one. So yes, it's more that sort of thing. Next, we have on the table, or should I go garland next? No, we'll go table next. on the table we have the 4 suits. Okay, this suit means wealth. Now, it really frustrates me, really does annoy me that tarot readers will tell you that the only wealth it means is financial wealth. It does not. It means mental wealth. It means physical health, wealth, any sort of wealth. One of the things that frustrates me is when these cards were done, yes, money meant a lot, but if we remember the people that were doing it, which is the gypsy community and stuff like that, if we actually remember them well and we actually think about them, we need to remember that family wealth and their family doing well and their family's okay and their family's safe was actually the most important wealth. Okay, so you need to remember this, and this is why I get so frustrated when people talk about cards as if they know them. It's like, no, you don't at all. We've then got the cup. So the cup is emotions, so the cup is always emotions. And the reason we need to remember that the cup's always emotions is when we think about the saying, oh, that person's cup's half full, that person's cup's half empty, you know, that sort of thing. So it's all about emotions, the cup is. So it's all about our emotions in that time. When we talk about cups, that is all we're talking about. There isn't much else with the cups. It literally is that. The next what we have is the sword. The sword is about strength. This could be strength in community, this could be strength in ourselves, this could be strength. It's all about strength, okay? This is not just physical strength, it is mental strength as well. So it's all about that sort of behavior. Wands, okay? So we need to remember these are not sticks. All right, if I come across one more tarot reader on TikTok calling them sticks, I will scream. They are not sticks, they are wands. Now, what we need to take note of, these are very old school ones. Okay, so I am doing a video tomorrow actually about the truth on the witch that I am, because I've been struggling with this mentally and stuff like that. So I am going to do this. We need to notice that this is a wooden wand. Okay, so this is the type of thing that Merlin would have used. Okay, so it's sort of more of a staff, and we need to remember that. So a wand duplicated as a walking stick, right? It duplicated also as a walking stick, but a wand also is something out of nothing. Okay, so a wand, you know, it looks like nothing. It just looks like a stick, it looks like a twig, and then you have all this powerful magic come out of it. All right, so this is how you know when you're manifesting. If when you're talking to someone and stuff like that, not manifesting, sorry, when you're when it's illusion, that's the word. All right, because that'll be out to you, and that is the reason why that is out to you when it's an illusion, is because you've got to think about magic, the magic of the stick. It looks like a stick, and then all of a sudden it has all this power. So it sort of like creates an illusion, like they say for Moses and stuff like that in the Bible, for the Christians that are watching. This is what this is about. It's about the magic within. Okay, so that is another thing that we need to remember with wands. It's about the magic within. So when I'm talking about, when I go through the wand cards, you'll notice I talk about a lot like, oh well, you feel like a burden, and you're like, how do you know that? And I'm like, well, that's what the magic within is. So this is one of the things that it massively sticks out. Absolutely need to hugely take note of. So next we have the table. The table is part of the trickster's illusion. So if the table's out to you, this shows that they've put everything on the table. It's like, yeah, I've put everything on the table. I've actually more or less shown you I'm the trickster, and you just can't see it. You don't want to see it, is the sort of thing. So I get this a lot with people which are in quite abusive relationships, if I'm honest. We next have a little birdie there. This is the bird of peace. So this is a dove, okay? So the dove can actually represent two things. So you need to take note of which colours are out when you see this. If the red is out with the dove, it's pointing to love. So they're manifesting love, they're manifesting care. They possibly are the tricks to themselves and tricking someone to love them, tricking someone to care for them. It's that sort of thing. We then have, if it's out with the white, it's sort of like they're manifesting peace, they're manifesting harmony, they're manifesting purity. It's that sort of thing. What we've then got is the bird on a perch. So in the next bit is a bird on a perch. Now this one, the bird on a perch, is laying down, so it's not actually quite the correct way up. So this can actually represent death when that's out, especially if it's out with the lilies at the front, because what we need to remember as well is the flowers of the times, what they actually meant. So usually when it's out for death is usually when the lilies at the front, I can see the one that's slightly crooked and looks like it's about to break off. Sadly, I know if that's out to me, there's going to be definitely a death. Like, there's no questions, there's no doubt, there is definitely going to be a death. As I've said before, we never tell people that. I don't mean that rudely. It's not like Hollywood. We don't tell people when there's going to be a death. Yes, there's occasions where their cards are so bad that you literally go, I'm not reading this. Yes, there is. Or we just rush through them. But it's not like Hollywood at all. Anything like it. I just need to say that. So the next thing we need to take note of is the red roses. If they're out to you, it's obvious, it's manifesting love. Okay, so the red roses are manifesting love. That is what they're doing in their life. They're manifesting love. This could be self-love as well, guys. So it doesn't actually have to be a love interest. It can also be self-love. The next one we have is the lilies. So lilies in the 1800s, when the cards were done, actually represented death. So my nan still to this day will not have lilies in her house. She says it's because she don't like the smell of them, but it's not that at all. It is. And I remember when I was a kid, my granddad brought her lilies and she was like, are you trying to kill me? You know, because they represented death. I'm not saying my nan's from the 1800s. I'm just saying that superstitions like that actually continued through to the 90s. So we need to take actually note of what one is out. If it's this one, that is the death. That is the death of someone close to them is manifesting. Try never tell anyone. Don't actually tell them that. So if it's these two here that look like bells, okay, this can be a divorce is manifesting or a relationship end. So it sort of signifies a wedding bells, if that makes sense. So that can be that sort of thing that's manifesting. If it's this one, absolutely brilliant, because it means the death of something's come and gone, but it's now a new beginning. All right, so that means they've sort of manifested something to go. Okay, so this is that card. I hope any questions, do comment them down below, and I do get to them in the next video. I do remember them and I do get to them. The last video didn't really have any questions on about the Fool. I think because everyone's quite in shock actually on how well how different I read the cards. I think everyone's quite shocked at that. So yeah, do comment them below, and I hope you've enjoyed this video, and do never forget, keep sparkling.